Hi, I'm Raya, and this is going to be a general reading for Sagittarius, for whatever placement you feel like it fits. It is general, so take what resonates and leave the rest. We're going to talk about where you're at, or possibly where you're coming from, where you've been, and then we're going to talk about where you're heading. Whoa. All right. So far we have the Sun, the Page of Emotions, and the Ace of Emotions. The Wheel, and the Muse of Inspiration. Center these a little bit more. And then where you're headed, we have the Seven of Materials, the Chariot, the Muse of Voices, the Two of Inspiration, and the Six of Materials. I'm going to just straighten these up really quickly. Hopefully you can see all of them. Okay. All right, so where you've been, or where this might be where you're at right now. It feels like you've really been listening to your heart. You've been more emotionally honest with yourself, or you're starting to become more emotionally honest with yourself. And it feels like that's led you to being more accepting of change. And because of that, you kind of feel like you got it. Like you feel like you figured something out. You're on top of it. You might be feeling more creative, feeling like, oh, this is the King of Wands, and it feels very like you know what's up. You know where you're headed. You're not afraid. You're on fire. You've got it, you know? I'm going to move on to where you're going, or where you're headed, and then I'm going to tie them together because I'm starting to see kind of a story here. So where you're headed, something that you've planted, you're going to be able to, like, maybe some creative seed you've planted up here, or something you've had an idea for, you're really going to start to cultivate it. You're going to start to work towards it. And as you do that process of working towards whatever your ideas were, you're going to have a lot of clarity about something that you were maybe unsure about. Or maybe like an aspect of your creativity that you wanted to pursue but you didn't think was quite possible yet. You're going to kind of see how you can make that a reality. With the Six of Materials here, I'm kind of seeing this as this whole reading feels like turning some feelings and some inspiration and some creativity into something tangible over time. Like that's the timeline here, you know? Like this card, you may have had like an idea, a big idea, a good idea, something that you felt like could change the world, something that you felt like could create something beautiful. And you really embodied that idea. The way that the heart is like shining. It feels like you really embodied that. And because of the way you embodied it, it allowed for a new beginning within you where you believe these things can be possible. You believe you can do it. And then as all of that settled in, like that creativity, that idea, that spark that really started to grow, and you decided to start walking towards it. You decided to put the work in, and now you're able to cultivate it. And with the Muse of Voices or the King of Voices here, initially I was thinking you got clarity, but I'm starting to see it as, I feel like you may have been doing this part, you know, where you have the idea, you start to cultivate it, you start on it without talking about it. And I think you're about to start communicating. Okay. Yeah, you're about to start, you're going to communicate that idea with someone. And you're going to do it in such a way that allows you and perhaps that other person to start to think about, how can we do this together? How can we make this real together? Like, how can we balance our energies and both contribute to this idea and turn it into something tangible? And the Eight of Voices is at the bottom of the deck, which is like the Eight of Swords. You might be struggling with how you're going to communicate this idea, or maybe having some anxiety about, you know, how can I do this? How can I communicate this? How can I share this? You may have some fear of like, what if people think this idea isn't a good idea? But with the King of Voices, like, you're gonna know. You're gonna know exactly how to communicate it. And it might not be a traditional way of communication. She's kind of like dancing and stuff. Like, I feel like you're gonna show people something and someone's going to like it. Someone's going to want to work with you if you want them to. And you guys are going to see a bigger... So, the way I'm seeing this, so you have this idea, and it looks huge. But then in this card, you know, there's similar colors, like whoever this person is, or whatever, you know, the situation coming up is, like, it's going to make you realize how much you weren't seeing, like how much potential your idea has that you weren't even aware of yet. And that's the beauty of creating with other people, is that sometimes we don't always know what we don't see. Like, we think, oh, we've thought about it, this is what's possible, but there could be a whole other world of possibilities that you haven't considered yet. Just because all of our minds work differently, we all think of different things. But I really see you working with someone else to make this idea a reality, to make it something tangible and like rooted in reality. All right, I'm gonna get an archetype card to maybe for some advice or just an extra message, something that might build upon this. Can I please get an archetype card for Sagittarius? Ooh, the Healer. Where I want to put this. And then at the bottom, the Starborn. Maybe your idea has to do with helping people or helping other people heal. This imagery is really interesting with the three-headed snake. Maybe you'll be working with a group to help heal other people, to help people see what they have within them. Or maybe you need to work on some healing, you know? Maybe that's what you were doing when you had this idea. I'm going to take a look at the book for this deck really quickly and see if any other messages kind of pop out at me. It mentions like things not being linear, healing not being linear. It also mentions being like self-contained. So I'm going to add, I guess, that perhaps you have been doing some healing and you have been doing it by yourself. And then again with these two cards, like it's even, you know, there's even the similar colors there. Maybe when you start talking to someone else about this or sharing your ideas, like they help you to, like working with someone else helps you to enter a new cycle of healing that's more in depth or grander than you had even imagined was necessary or needed, but it's going to help you tremendously. And I think that you will be able to share those ideas to help other people heal. Like the more you learn about your own healing journey, like not everyone's journey looks the same, but sharing what worked for you could help someone else who's just starting off get to this point, you know, as you ascend to the next level of healing. Like the message you have to share is important. You're meant to share this message if you want to. Like if you don't, some people have a more personal relationship to their healing. Maybe they don't want to share it. Maybe it's more private. But I feel like you want to share it. You want to communicate what you've learned. You're excited about it and you want to help other people. Sagittarians tend to be like teachers, and maybe you feel called to teach. You know, you learned what you need to learn. You're still learning, but you can also share what you already know. And I think with the Eight of Swords here, it could be difficult. You might be afraid to share it. But I think that you will. You will when you're ready. And when you do, you could help a lot of people immensely. I think you're going to have the ability to share things in such a new and creative way with the Muse of Inspiration and the Muse of Voices. You're going to share things in a way that other people don't, and that's going to reach people who might not resonate with the way most people share things or the way most people talk about their healing journey. Like you're going to do it in such a way that reaches people that nobody else can reach. All right, Sagittarius, that's all I have for you today. I hope this helps, and I hope you have a great day. Bye.